Last year, my sister and I went on this amazing hike in Havasupai in the Arizona Grand Canyon, and it was so exciting. We went down and we hiked down for a bunch of hours, yeah, a lot of hours, with very heavy backpacks, and then we camped down in the canyon, freezing cold, for 3 days, and then we hiked back up. It was so fun.
The water was stunning, and even though it was freezing, we happened to go right as the area was experiencing the worst snowstorm in 100 years. We were with our cousins and aunties, so it was so fun all the way around.
On the way back, I was exhausted. I had been carrying this heavy backpack for hours, and I knew that the switchbacks, a brutal climb that would bring us about 2,000 feet up, was just ahead. I was not excited about this, and I was delighted when my cousin, who had sent her pack ahead on an airplane, offered to carry it up for me as she went up with the first group. I wholeheartedly accepted her offer. Up she went with the pack, and a little while later, I too started up with my mom. As we climbed, my legs were just exhausted. I was just exhausted throughout my whole body. The freezing snow on the ground was forgotten, and everything was just higher and exhausting, and it seemed like it would never end. At one point, and exhausted and only halfway up, I ditched the regular path that went back and forth and opted to climb, pulling myself up with my arms straight up the cliff face.
It was really funny because me and my brother were a bit ahead of them, so we were up at the top and we were looking down at the people who were coming up these switchbacks, and they were terrible. And right, in the middle of the switchbacks, we noticed these two people, because my mom had joined Camilla in this, who were just climbing straight up the Grand Canyon, and we were like, what? And then I was like, oh, that's mom. There's no way that's not mom, because they're just done with the switchbacks and they just want to go up. And it was really funny to see.
I have to say, it was a glorious moment when I finally reached the top. I was just so grateful that I had given my backpack to my cousin, because even without it, the trip was really hard and it took way too long for my liking. And with it, I would have taken much longer time to reach the top, and I would have been way more tired.
The thing is that we all have backpacks. We all have things that we carry around with us that we refuse to let go. Even though they hold us back and drag us down so we can't be who we're supposed to be, we carry them around with us all the time. These are called grudges. Since we are surrounded by humans, imperfect people who hurt and get hurt, it is only reasonable to expect that in our lifetime, many people will do things that hurt or offend us. Each of these things are like putting a rock in our backpacks. The more we put in there, the harder our life is. When we are carrying a super heavy backpack, even when life is good, it is really hard to enjoy ourselves.
The key to getting rid of those rocks is forgiveness. Forgiveness is the act of letting go of the pain and hurt that you carry around and being able to have the peace to enjoy life. It is not letting others control us, but choosing to control our own happiness. Robert Enright explains forgiveness as, forgiveness is about goodness, about extending mercy to those who have harmed us even if they don't deserve it. It is not about finding excuses for the offending person's behavior or pretending it didn't happen. Forgiveness is a process with many steps that often proceeds in a non-linear fashion.
But it is well worth the effort. Working on forgiveness can help us increase our self-esteem and give us a sense of inner strength and safety. It can reverse the lies that we often tell ourselves when someone has hurt us deeply. Lies like, I am defeated or I am not worthy. Forgiveness can heal us and allow us to move on with life with meaning and purpose. Forgiveness matters, and we will be its primary beneficiary.
Do you want to know how forgiving you are? Pause this video and go to the quiz that we provided the link to and find out. When you are done, come back and let's talk more about forgiveness.
Welcome back! Did you find out more about yourself and how you forgive? Did you take that quiz? Oftentimes we understand when we come to know things, and sometimes that knowledge is a little bit hard for us to take. If you found out that you were maybe not the best at forgiving people, but that's okay, because this is where it all starts. This is where change and improvement starts, but you can't start to change it or to forgive people if you don't know that you aren't good at it.
If you are good at forgiving, that is amazing. You are extremely blessed. That skill that you have will help you throughout your life in so many different ways.
Let's discuss what forgiving is not. Forgiving someone does not mean you excuse the harm they have done. It is not forgetting, supporting, condoning, trivializing, or overlooking the hurt they have caused. It is also not having to trust them again or even reconciliation with them. Sometimes we will reconcile, but reconciling is not part of forgiving. Forgiveness is being able to change our relationship to the hurt or offense through understanding, compassion, and release. It is about restoring our inner well-being.
You would think that if forgiveness was so good and healthy that it would be easy. It is not easy, partly because, as Brené Brown says, forgiveness is so difficult because it involves death and grief. Given the dark fears we feel when we experience loss, nothing is more generous and loving than the willingness to embrace grief in order to forgive. To be forgiven is to be loved. Even though it is hard, forgiveness is a gift that you can give yourself. It is not for the other person, it is for you, your health and well-being. It does not depend on the person who hurt you, it just depends on you.
There was a time when I was really struggling to forgive someone. They had hurt me out of no reason, it seemed, and I'm sure they did have a reason. As I researched forgiveness and how to do it, I was interested to find out that there are tons of health benefits that come from working on forgiveness. Some of these benefits are healthier relationships, improved mental health, less anxiety, stress, and hostility, lower blood pressure, fewer symptoms of depression, a stronger immune system, improved heart health, improved self-esteem. The amazing part about forgiving is that these benefits don't just come when you have succeeded in forgiving. These benefits start to kick in as soon as you start trying to forgive someone. Sometimes it takes a long time. The more you practice forgiveness, the greater your benefits are. The health benefits are directly related to the time and effort that you spend on forgiving.
Now that you know forgiving is important, you might be asking yourself, how do I forgive? This is a very important question and a question we both have been asking ourselves for a while before we researched it. Both of us want to be healthier and happier, but there are some things that people did to us that just hurt so much and hurt so deep that it seemed way too hard to forgive.
Think about these for the rest of the evening or day or whenever you're doing this, and then we'll see you guys tomorrow and we'll continue to talk about how to better forgive people.